What's up PvZ fans, it's Strangelove here, and today we were treated to an awesome developer diary video over on the Plants vs. Zombies channel that covers all of the abilities for the 6 new character classes coming to Garden Warfare 2. Now, the lead gameplay designer Chris Fox did a great job of explaining all of the characters, so if you're wanting to learn more about the new classes, you should definitely check the video out. Now, in this developer diary, we also got to see a sneak peek of a ton of new character variants coming to Garden Warfare 2, and so I'm just gonna go briefly over all of the ones that I was able to spot in the gameplay footage. I think I was able to figure out most of them, but there are some that I can't really tell what they are, so maybe you guys can help me out. But anyway, let's check out some of these new variants. Now, I'm going to be starting with the new plant variants because I spotted a lot more of them in the footage. So the first variant that we're going to see in the gameplay is a new Kernel Corn variant who looks like this. He has a bandana on his head and his leaves look kind of wrinkled, like they've been ravaged by war or something. So at first glance, I assumed this was a sort of Rambo-style Kernel Corn, which makes sense because it goes along with the Kernel Corn's military veteran theme, but then again the bandana could be something a little bit more ninja-inspired. I'm not really sure, so it's kind of hard to tell, but he looks awesome either way. Next up, we have the Disco Chomper, and we get to see this variant all over the gameplay, and of course this Chomper is going to have a disco ball for a head, and he's also got some funky dance floor lights going all the way down its stem. However, we don't get to see what kind of abilities the Disco Chomper has because all through the gameplay, it just walks right up to the zombies and pretty much just stands there waiting to die. And I know this is for the sake of showing off the abilities for the new classes, but I was kinda hoping we'd get to see him bust out some dance moves or something. But maybe we'll get to see that in a future gameplay. Now, there were also 2 new Citron variants that we see in this gameplay footage, and the first one is the Armored Citron, who we've seen in some previous gameplay trailers as well. And if this variant's anything like the Armored Chomper, he's going to have more health and more sustain at the cost of having slower movement speed. Now, the other Citron we see very briefly is right here, and he seems to be a sort of Ice Citron variant because we can see him firing off some frosty shots in this gameplay. Alright, so these next few variants are a little bit harder to spot, but if you look closely, you'll see a new Cactus variant with a pointy hat and a purple wizard outfit on, so this seems to be a new Wizard Cactus variant, and maybe it'll have some kind of wizard or mage magical abilities similar to that of the Rose. Now, we also get a quick look at a new Sunflower variant, and if you look closely here, this Sunflower seems to have little tiny patches on her petals, as well as what seems to be a button for one of her eyes, sort of like she's a plushie or a stuffed version of the Sunflower, so I'm just going to call this the plushie Sunflower. And also in this gameplay we see this plushie Sunflower shooting a quick rainbow shot, which might be one of her unique abilities as well. And finally for the plants, we see the Rock Pea, which most of you have already seen in some previous gameplay, but here we get a clear shot of him, and if I had to guess, I would think that the Rock Pea shoots some kind of rocks. Well, obviously. Alright you guys, let's move on and check out some of the few zombie variants that we got to see in this gameplay. So first off, we get some clear footage of what appears to be a motocross or a biker all-star, and this variant has a pair of bike handles on his helmet as well as a gun that looks a lot like a dirt bike or a motorcycle, and if you look closely we can also see that this dirt bike gun of his also shoots these huge blobs of mud everywhere, so I think it's pretty safe to say that this is a motocross themed variant, and they'll probably end up calling it a biker star or something. Now, we also get to see a few clips of what appears to be an ice variant for the engineer, and in the footage he's firing off some frosty shots, and it looks like he maybe has a refrigerator on his back, and since there wasn't an ice engineer before, it would make sense for them to add one in now. Alright guys, so that was it for the zombie variants that I could definitely spot, but there were a couple of variants that I saw that I couldn't identify what kind of variant they were, but they were definitely different versions of their characters. So right here I noticed this variation of the Imp, who is getting shot by the Rose, and if you look really closely he's got sort of a red thing on his head. I'm not sure, it kind of looks like a lobster or something, but I can't really tell what kind of variant this is supposed to be. Also, if we look closely at the scientist that's behind him, I think the scientist looks pretty different as well, but again, I can't really clearly tell what kind of variant this is, so if you have any ideas, let me know in the comments below. And if we go over to the clip where we saw the Ice Citron, we also see a different looking foot soldier down here, but I'm not exactly sure what type of variant of foot soldier this is. He does look different from the ones that we've seen already, so I think this is a variant, but again, can't really tell what he is. And finally, there's this really rad looking pea shooter rocking an awesome purple hairdo, and we see him in a few clips. And at first I thought the purple hair was just one of the new customizations, which it could still be, but if this is a new variant, I can't really think of what kind of variant it would be, so if you have any ideas, let me know. Alright you guys, that wraps up this video recapping all of the variants that I could spot in the latest Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare 2 gameplay footage, and if you guys have any insight as to what some of those mysterious variants were at the end, let me know in the comments below, and also let me know which variants you're looking forward to playing when the game comes out. As always, thank you so much for watching you guys, and until next time, this is Strangelove signing out.